Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to our Premier League fixture against Burnley on Saturday afternoon. Let me just double check the stream is working fine because I seem to have a little bit of an error in the corner of my screen there. So I just want to make sure it's working fine so everybody knows that we are live. Give me 2 seconds. You'll probably hear me annoying voice again here. But you know, it is what it is, innit? These are the things you have to do. It is. We're working live. I don't know why my preview on me screen's gone off there, but it is what it is. We are, of course, back, like I said, with the game preview to our Premier League fixture on Saturday afternoon against Burnley. We're going to talk about the game in great depth. I just want to say before we go into this live stream, I do apologise that there wasn't a live stream yesterday or on Tuesday. I had a little bit going on and I just wanted to take a little bit of time out basically to just get a couple of things going right in me in my life generally. So you know, I didn't really have time to sit down and see. I mean, there wasn't anything major that had happened. Obviously there was little topics here and there that we could discuss, that we'll definitely discuss at some point in the near future. One of them we're going to discuss today, and that is Anthony Gordon and whether he now deserves a chance in the first team squad. Not necessarily in the first team starting 11 wise, but in the first team squad, given he's been performing fantastically for the under-23s for quite some time now. So we're going to talk about that today. So like I said, I do apologise that there wasn't a live stream yesterday. We've got the game preview today. Now Marco Silva actually had this pre-game press conference today. Now whereas we'd usually do a press conference reaction on Friday, because that's usually when his press conferences are, it was actually today. Don't know, he must be taking a half day tomorrow to go and have a coffee with his missus or something. So we're actually going to be doing a press conference reaction to Marco Silva's pre-game press conference a little bit later on at around 8:30, 8:45 tonight. So don't forget to join us for that as well. Of course, like I said, it's, you know, he's already had his press conference, so it'd be a bit silly of us to react to it a day later. Chris says hi mate, hope you're well. Hi Chris, I'm doing well myself. Andrew says hi mate. Hi Andrew, hope you're doing well. And Jamie puts a thumbs up. Hi Jamie, thanks for getting involved. I'm just going to tweet the stream out so everybody on Twitter knows that we are live. Please do leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed, if you are enjoying. And please do share it, spread the word, share it round, etc. so everybody knows that we are live and can come and talk about this game. But listen, for me, you know, it's a tough one. Burnley are a tough side to beat at home. Obviously, they've got a pretty decent record, 11th in the Premier League. Everton currently sitting in 15th, so they've had a much better start to the season than we have. They've had 2 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses. Like I said, notoriously quite good at Turf Moor. Obviously, we went there last season and absolutely schooled them. We beat them, was it 5-1? And we've gone there in previous seasons and got some real big wins as well. So I've got an okay record at Turf Moor, but it doesn't mean that there's any guarantees for Saturday afternoon. Obviously, we've been in pretty poor form recently, taking away the Manchester City performance and the Manchester City result. We've had some real poor performances and some real poor results. Obviously, I think the lads can take a little bit of confidence. I think the lads can take a bit of motivation from the City performance. Although it was a defeat, although we were beaten, we have to understand that we were beaten by, you know, the best team in England and one of the best teams in European football. But the performance that we actually put in, you know, had Manchester City on the ropes for part of the game. And, you know, we played with fight, we played with urgency, and we played with character. And that's exactly what we need to do on Saturday. There's no point us going into Saturday's game and playing like we played against Sheffield United or Bournemouth, etc. Obviously, like you said, you know, that it's all well and good sitting here and saying that. It's all well and good discussing it in a game preview. It's all well and good me saying it and everybody else saying it. But Marco Silva needs to be saying it to the lads. He needs to be getting the lads in the changing rooms and going, listen, the City performance was much better than any performance that we've put out recently. So let's go out there and put that same performance in against Burnley. And if we do, I honestly think we can get the 3 points, and it'll be a real big 3 points for us. It's almost a must-win game in the circumstances that we're in. Like we said, you know, last weekend's game was, you took it out, was because we were playing a team that are, let's be honest, head and shoulders better than us in every way. So you sort of understood that, well, whilst, okay, you know, it would have been nice to get something out of the game and it was still a disappointing result, it was almost an expected result, and, you know, we played a lot better than I think a lot of us expected to, whereas this one really is, it's a crunch game for me. It's going to be tough. It's away from home. We need to get something out of it, and for me, we need to get a win, and if we go out there and we play like we did against City, I don't see why we can't get a win. Aaron says, hi mate, I'm a Manchester City fan. Hi mate, thanks for getting involved. Eugene says, who do you buy in the January transfer window for Everton? A centre-half, preferably. I really like the look of that Swansea from Manchester United. However, it's now looking like that he is sort of being integrated into their first team, and he's looking like their best defender at the minute, so I doubt he's going to leave. But I would have liked us to go in for him, you know, before he broke into the Manchester United first team. I dare say Kurt Zouma will be on the radar. Marco Silva spoke about Kurt Zouma in today's pre-game press conference. He said it's a little bit too early to talk about it. I'm not going to go too much into what he said because, like I said, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on tonight with the press conference reaction. David says Gomes won't start. Marco said he's only had a week training. He did, but he also said he's available for Saturday's game. Now, if he's available and if he's going to be fit enough to be on the bench, then I don't really see why he shouldn't be fit enough to start. Anyway, we're going to talk about my predicted starting 11 in a little bit, and we'll talk about Andre Gomes, who, of course, the big news for today is that Andre Gomes is fit to play, or he'll be in the matchday squad. Whether he's fit to start, whether he's fit to even be on the pitch, he will be in the matchday squad, and I don't see why he would be in the matchday squad if he's not fit to play a part in the game. Also, some of the really, really good news: Theo Walcott has recovered from his injury that obviously we seen him get last week at Manchester, at Goodison Park against Manchester City. Sorry, did seem a little bit worrying at the time, obviously, having him stretchered off and going straight into an ambulance. It was a little bit of a worry, but, you know, luckily enough, he's back to fitness. He's been back in training as well, and he is fit to play. Joseph says, love the show, lad. Keep up the good work, mate. Thank you very much. Really, really do appreciate that, Joseph. Eugene says, we need to start winning this Saturday afternoon against Burnley at Turf Moor. We do. Aaron says, don't worry, we will try and retain the league against them. Don't let them win the league, please don't. David Collins says, Mbappe, Eugene, yeah, if only. And he also says, we hope so, Aaron. Chris Welsh says, it's a 1-0 game written all over it. Listen, as long as it's 1-0 in Everton's favour, I'll take that every single day of the week. As long as Everton get the 3 points on Saturday, that's good enough for me. Andrew says, 2 from Keane and Calvert-Lewin, I'd go with that, mate. Yeah, like I said, again, this is sort of a mix as to what I think Marco Silva will go with and what I really, really want him to go with. I'm under no illusion that Gylfi Sigurdsson will probably start on Saturday. I don't think Gylfi Sigurdsson's played good enough over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I think he does need time out the squad. I think the way Marco Silva wants to play, I think the way Marco Silva wants to style his team out just doesn't include a number 10, not Gylfi Sigurdsson specifically. I think Gylfi Sigurdsson could fit into Marco Silva's system, but if he was dropped back as a regular centre midfielder and not a number 10. But, you know, I do expect Marco Silva to bring in Gylfi Sigurdsson and play him again, but I would love to see 2 up front, and we'll talk about it in a sec. Jeff says, alright, Cam, how's things, buddy? Alright, Jeff, hope you're doing well. I'm not doing too bad myself, mate, not doing too bad. He also says, alright, Chris, and hi, David, and Chris says, hi, Jeff, mate. So yeah, let's go straight into talking about it. Like we said, it's a big game for us. We need to play in the same fashion as we played against Manchester City. We can't be approaching this game like we did the Sheffield United game or the Bournemouth game. We need to be approaching it like we did the Manchester City game. And in my opinion, the way we approached the City game was that we went into it and we thought, well, you know what, if we don't at least give it 110% here, if we don't at least show some fight, show some balls, show some passion, we're going to get absolutely turned over. And that we knew that would have happened. If we'd have went there and would have let our heads drop after the first City attack, or let our heads drop when the first goal went in, we'd have got absolutely torn to bits. I'm talking 4, 5, 6, because they're that good, and if we let our heads drop, we can be beaten like that by any team in the Premier League, let alone Manchester City. But we didn't. We lifted our heads high a little bit, and like we said, we've seen it at the start of this season a little bit, was when we were conceding, and we weren't necessarily dropping our heads, we weren't necessarily losing confidence, we were picking ourselves back up and going, you know what, we're gonna get ourselves back into this game, and we're actually gonna fight for what we want, and that is obviously the result. It dropped off a little bit, obviously, towards the middle of the season, the Villa game, the Bournemouth game, the Sheffield United game, where we see concede and heads drop again a little bit like the start of last season, when something had happened. We spoke about it so much last season, was that something had happened, whether it be conceding a goal, conceding a dangerous free kick, or doing something going wrong in the game, and our heads are just totally dropping. That'd be it, it'd be the end of the game. Whereas in this game on Saturday, like I said, we lifted ourselves back up. We went 1-0 down, and we knew that we needed to get back into this game, otherwise we were going to get torn a new one. So we picked ourselves back up, and we continued to attack, and we continued to hit Manchester City, and we got back into the game. And like I said, on the day, they just had a little bit too much for us. But if we play like that against Burnley, and if we go out with the same sort of mentality against Burnley, I don't think Burnley will have enough for us. And if we think, well, you know what, if we concede in this game, if something happens, we're going to carry on, and we're going to get up, and we're going to go, and we're going to go, and we're going to go again. I want to see Marco Silva play an attacking style of football on Saturday. I want to see Marco Silva play an attacking starting 11, and that's why I put Andre Gomes back in there, because yeah, he mightn't be 100% match fit, and to be honest, if he's not 100% match fit, I don't really want him to play. But if he's not 100% match fit, he shouldn't be in the match day squad, because if you're in the match day squad, you should be ready to come on at any time, if not start the game. So if he is 100% match fit, throw him back in there. It's an attacking change. That's why I want to see 2 up front. Nothing would excite me more than looking at that team sheet on Saturday afternoon and seeing Iwobi and Richarlison as the wingers, or Bernard and Richarlison. I don't really mind out of Iwobi and Bernard, and Keane and DCL up front. And that would, for me, make a statement as that we are going into this game to attack. We are going into this game to get the 3 points, and we're not messing about. Whereas if we go in there with Sigurdsson in the 10 and maybe DCL in there, and then 2 central defensive midfielders, it just sets out a negative stall for me straight away, and it sets out a system as to say, right, we're away from home, we're going to try and keep it compact, keep it tight, and see what we can get. And I don't want that. Realistically, we're playing a team in Burnley that, you know, are a decent Premier League side, they're a stable Premier League side, but if we're being honest, we should have much more, and we do have much more quality in our team to take us past Burnley. We just don't have the momentum and the confidence at the minute, and that's why we're sitting 15th in the Premier League, and that's also why we can't avoid to drop points again. We need the 3 points on Saturday, we really do, and I think if we don't get the 3 points, more fans are going to get on Marco Silva's back. There's going to be a lot more pressure. He spoke about pressure in the press conference, which we'll speak about, like I said, a little bit later on tonight when we do the press conference reaction, but you're just going to get more of that from fans, because this is a game that we expect to win. We won it so gloriously last season, we've won it gloriously in season before, so there's no excuse for us to not go out and at least get the 3 points. I'm not saying I expect another 5-goal thriller, I'm not saying I expect us to blow Burnley out the park, but I do expect us to get the win, and that might be stupid because I'm an Everton fan and you shouldn't really expect anything at the minute, but I'm just talking about looking at taking game by game, because if you take us on form, I don't expect to win this game. If you said to me, well, right, looking at Everton's last 3-4 results, do you expect us to go out there and get 3? Are you confident of getting 3 points at Turf Moor? I go, no, I'm not confident. I'm not confident of even coming away with a point, to be honest. But you've got to take it game by game, and that's how you build confidence, and that's how you build momentum. And like I said, although we lost last Saturday against Manchester City, the performance was something. There was positives to take out of the performance, and there was confidence and momentum to take out of that performance as well. Like I said, obviously we need to play with the same urgency as we did against Manchester City. We need to get something from this game. If it's not a 3 points, we at the very minimum need a point, and even that for me isn't good enough, and even that I think will have people jumping on us back, but it will give them a little bit of a I don't know, maybe a little bit of a string of time as to say, well, we got a point away from home, which isn't the worst result. But for me, we need the 3 points on Saturday. Obviously, it's a tough pace to travel. Like I said, Burnley currently sitting 11th in the Premier League, 2 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses, 9 points currently. We've got 7 out of 7, which is absolutely pathetic. So they're not doing too bad for themselves. They're not doing too bad. They're probably in and around about where they should be at the minute. They're a stable Premier League side. Like I said, they're probably not going to get relegated, and they're probably not going to finish anywhere within the top 8 or 9 or 10. They'll be a mid-table team this season, but at the minute, Everton can perform like a top 6 team one week, and Everton can perform like a championship team the next week. So you just don't know what Everton are going to turn up, do you? Where are we? David says he won't play 2 up front from the start because he won't leave Siggy out. Again, we're going to talk about that in a second, but I think he should leave Sigurdsson out, but I don't necessarily think he will. But this is more for me what I want to see rather than what I think Marco Silva will play, because if I put what I think Marco Silva will play, it'd be pretty much the same team as the team that played against Manchester City. Andrew says Sigurdsson should be dropped. I agree. Even if you don't use the term dropped, he needs to be taken out. He needs to be given a rest because he's just not performing at the minute. David says, alright, Jeff. Eugene says, what do you think of Fabian Delph being back in the England squad again? I think he probably deserves it. Obviously, he performed fantastically in his first couple of games for Everton. He come in and he was a real shining light. He's made a couple of mistakes over the last couple of games, but he probably deserves the spec in there. And again, it'll only help him build his confidence. It'll only help him, improve in terms of, obviously he now understands that he's in and around that England setup again. Joseph says Sigurdsson needs to be dropped inside side. Fair enough. Jeff says we have to win this game. We are 15th, and if we don't win, we go into the international break in the bottom 5. That is unacceptable. I agree. We do need to win this game, and I expect a win, even though I'm an Evertonian. David says, is that confirmed, Eugene? Joseph says something new. Jeff says, problem is that Burnley are back playing how they did 2 seasons ago, and Chris Martin is back from injury and scoring goals. They won't be easy at all. They won't be easy, and they never really are an easy game. Even the 5-1 last year wasn't. It was very, very surprising because we were going into that game. Sorry, having a sip of me tea. We were going into that game, and I don't think anyone expected us to turn Burnley over like we did, but we did. And again, that was at a time where we weren't particularly playing fantastic. We'd had struggles at home, we'd had struggles away from home. When we come out, and it was one of those games where you're thinking, right, we need a 3 point today. And within 20 minutes, we were 3-0 up, and you're thinking, fucking hell, what's going on here? Has something happened? Have we been revitalised? But then again, we had games after that where we struggled as well. So we need to go out there and we really, really need to take this game as it is. But for me, you're absolutely right, Jeff. We need the 3 points. We do. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please do hit the like button. It means a massive, massive amount to me. David says if he wins the next 3, he'll be okay, Jeff. But if he loses them, only gets a couple of points, then he's in serious deep water. I agree. David says never is. Jeff says agree, David. He's already on thin ice. He is with a lot of fans. He is on thin ice at the minute. He needs a big win on Saturday. Eugene says Fabian Delph recalls the England squad again. He is. Alex says yes, Cam. Yes, Alex, hope you're doing well. Cal says DCL should start this weekend, more clinical than keen in my opinion. Fair enough. We'll talk about the striker situation in a little bit. Chris says who would you guys get as Silva's replacement if Silva did leave? That's the question, isn't it? That's the golden question. Who would we bring in? You'll get people saying Arteta. You'll get people saying Eddie Howe. But these managers are in the exact same boat as Marco Silva was when he joined. Not won anything. Not proven. And who knows, we could be 2 years down a reign with Eddie Howe, 2 years down a reign with Mikel Arteta and be in this exact same position. We were 2 years down a reign with Ronald Koeman and in a worse position than we were prior. We were in 2-3 years down a reign with Roberto Martinez, and that didn't work either. So that's the golden question. And Carl says Nuno, the Wolves manager. He is a good manager, but I just don't know whether he'd work in our system. CJ says go 4-3-3 in midfield of Delph, Gomes and Schneiderlin. Fair enough. 4-3-3 is definitely a formation that Marco Silva likes to play. It's a formation that he spoke about very highly recently. However, he wants Gomes, Delph and Gabaman to be that partnership. And as we've already seen over the last sort of few weeks, he doesn't really want to be playing a 4-3-3 if he hasn't got those players fit. Of course, he could have played a 4-3-3 with Delph, Schneiderlin and Davis, but he didn't because he insisted on wanting those 3 players fit to play that. CJ says Schneiderlin has better stats this season than Delph. Didn't expect that, to be honest. I think Schneiderlin's played well when he's played. I just don't think he... Listen, Morgan Schneiderlin is what he is. He's a defensive midfielder and he's not going to break forward, he's not going to score goals and he's not going to create anything, and he doesn't pretend to be anything that he's not. And I think Morgan Schneiderlin is a good footballer and can be a really, really good player in certain situations. I just think Marco Silva's playing him in the wrong situations at the minute. Jeff says, no clue, Chris, but whoever it is, has to bring fight. We are too cerebral in our play, not enough spontaneous fight in us. Fair enough, I actually agree. Andrew says Silva ain't going anywhere, pointless discussion replacements. I also agree with that one. Carl says Schneiderlin being our worst player, he makes the midfield flat. Fair enough. Wayne says, are you alright, Cam? We suck at the moment. Wouldn't be putting much money on us winning this one either. Having to switch off from Everton there. Bad for my health. I'm not too bad. I hope you're doing well. I hope your health's okay. Carl says, well, you're not a proper fan then, Wayne. Watch us win, lose or draw, no matter what form. Support us always. Yeah, I think it's important to understand where Wayne's coming from. Now he's saying that it's training at the minute, and it is training. It's training for all of us. Listen, coming on, and the fact that we're talking about the Burnley game, saying it might be a tough game and we mightn't get anything, you know, considering where we wanted to be at the start of the season, considering where we wanted to be, you know, talking about breaking into the top 6 and maybe even potentially challenging for the Champions League. It is really, really disappointing at the minute. Jeff says, agree, Wayne. I'm just not too invested in us at the minute. They just always let us down. They do, but that's Everton in it. And Sean, you're getting timed out because you were here last time throwing out relegation shouts, and that's just not happening, is it? Let's be honest. Anyway, let's go into talking about my predicted starting 11 now. We're 17 minutes into the season. I haven't even spoken about my predicted starting 11, so we'll fly through it really quick. I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Some fans on Twitter seeming to think that Jordan Pickford should be dropped. Some fans thinking that he hasn't been playing well enough. I think he's made a couple of silly mistakes, and I think again he's done a couple of silly things over the last couple of weeks. Laughing his head off when he ran out and City put the ball out was a little bit strange the other day. But you know, Jonas Larsson hasn't put an Everton shirt on competitively this season, and Martin Stekelenburg's absolutely shite. So Jordan Pickford stays in for me. Luka Dean at left back, of course, self-explanatory. Yerry Mina and Keane at centre half, again self-explanatory. Might be an argument there for Mason Holgate, who's done okay in the Carabao Cup. However, for me, I'd keep the same defensive partnership. Seamus Coleman at right back played really, really well against Manchester City. Actually thought it was his best game, to be honest with you. I thought he was fantastic, really, really good defensively, and going forward he had a little bit more in him as well. So he's there. I've gone for a midfield 2 of Andre Gomes and Fabian Delph, so this is where it changes up for a bit. I've actually gone for a straight flat 4-4-2. Now, I don't think Marco Silva will necessarily go with this, and I don't think Marco Silva will necessarily put Andre Gomes in there, but like we said at the start of the stream, Marco Silva's come out in his pre-game press conference today, and he has said that Andre Gomes is fit for this game. He's fit to be in the squad, he's fit to be in the matchday squad. Now, I understand that he hasn't had much training over the last couple of weeks. I understand that he might be fit to be a part of the squad, but mightn't be fit to complete 90 minutes, mightn't be fit to start the game. For me, if you're fit to be in the matchday squad, you are fit to play from the off. And I'm not saying Andre Gomes should play 90 minutes. I'm not saying Andre Gomes should come in and play the entire game. But if he's fit to be on that bench, he's fit to be on the pitch, in my opinion. And if he's not fit to be on the bench and he's not 100%, then he shouldn't be there. Marco Silva should be coming out and saying, yes, he's back in first team training, but he probably won't be in the squad on Saturday because we're going to give him a little bit of time, another weeks of training, etc. To get back into things, get back into the swing of things and work on his injury, because the last thing we want is Andre Gomes coming in, playing for 10 minutes and getting another niggly injury and having to come off, because his injuries pop back up. But also, if he's fit enough, if he's not fit, he shouldn't be in the squad, he shouldn't be on the bench, he shouldn't be on the pitch. So if he's on the bench, then for me, he should be fit enough to be on the pitch. I've gone for Fabian Delph next to him, of course. Like you said, England call up today along with Michael Keane and Jordan Pickford. Played quite well recently, made a couple of silly mistakes over the last couple of weeks, but genuinely has played well. So I've gone for the midfield two of Gomes and Fabian Delph. Andre Gomes coming back in if he is 100% fit. I've gone for Alex Iwobi and Richarlison on the wings. Bernard obviously was out of the Manchester City game with an illness. Marcus Silva didn't speak much about it today. For all we know, I'm assuming that he's back to fitness. Again, we don't know whether he'll be 100% fit. He had a little bit of a viral infection, I think, so that's something that can have a strain on your body for a number of weeks. So I've gone for Iwobi in there, like you said, played against Manchester City, come on in the first minute due to an injury to Theo Walcott, come off in towards the end because he wasn't having a fantastic game at all. I think we can all agree with that. But I've put him in there for me to start this game. I think he can really, really get at Burnley, and I think he can really, really use his attacking prowess. I've gone for Richarlison on the right, again, pretty self-explanatory. Done okay against Manchester City defensively, was really, really good. Didn't really break for him going forward, but again, you see Richarlison having these types of games where he doesn't do an awful lot going forward, but his defensive work is fantastic. And I've gone for the front two of Moise Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, I want to see Marco Silva play 4-4-2. I've been saying this for a while. I want to see Marco Silva playing 4-4-2. Now, my next point is who starts up top. It's a big, big discussion surrounding Everton Football Club at the minute. And it's a big, big discussion surrounding fans as who plays up top, because you've got a set of fans saying, well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin should play up there because he's experienced, he's scoring goals at the minute. I think he scored 4 in his last 4. Obviously, he scored 2 in the Carabao Cup, 1 against Bournemouth, and then, of course, 1 against Manchester City. And then you've got another set of fans saying, well, we've just signed Moise Keane for quite a considerable amount of money. He's not going to get the experience. He's not going to have an opportunity to score goals if he's not in the team, so I'll put him up there. I've said multiple times before, I've said it over the last couple of weeks, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin offers us something that Moise Keane doesn't, but I also think Moise Keane offers us something that Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't, and I think they could be a real, real dangerous partnership up top together. Now, I don't necessarily think Marco Silva will go with a 4-4-2 or any formation that sees us play 2 strikers. He's already said last week in the press conference to the Manchester City game that, we played with 2 strikers for a brief period of time previously and we created more chances with 1. He doesn't really seem fond of having 2 up front. But like I said, I just think that they can both play off each other. I think that they can both benefit each other, and I think that they can both help each other. And I'll be massively excited, like I said at the start of the team, to see these 4 players as our front 4 on Saturday. I think it sets our stall out straight away, and I think it says to Burnley, we're coming out here to win this game. We're coming here to get the 3 points. We're not coming here to mess about. We're not coming here to take a draw or to see what we can get out of the game. We're coming here for the 3 points, and that's it. That's all it is. And for me, I think that front 4 would really, really show that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if Dom was up there on his own. I'm not saying that if Keane was up there on his own, it wouldn't show that. But I just think the both of them together and then wingers would really, 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 show some intent from Everton. And that's what we need to show. That's what Marco Silva needs to show at the end of the day. He needs to show intent. He needs to show that he's willing to go out there and put a ballsy starting 11 up and put a starting 11 out that's actually designed to go and get the 3 points. Not a starting 11 that's designed to score goals but also be strong defensively. Go out there and go, this is Burnley. We absolutely wiped their arse last season away from home. We've beaten them quite emphatically in previous seasons. So we're going out there and we're going to with the plan to get the 3 points. Whether Marco Silva will do that, I don't know. Again, the big sort of absentee from this team obviously is Gylfi Sigurdsson. I don't think Gylfi Sigurdsson's done well this season, to be honest with you. Obviously only 1 goal, that was the penalty in the Carabao Cup against Lincoln. I think he struggled. I think he really, really has struggled. I think with Gylfi Sigurdsson is he's a little bit he's a little bit unfortunate because I think his performances haven't been brilliant, and I think he's struggled because he hasn't really been putting in top performances. However, I think he's also struggled because he just doesn't fit the system at the minute. The way we play, we're playing directly down the wing, we're playing the ball to the wingers, and the ball is really coming from the defence to themselves defensive midfielders, and it's going out that way, and then it's coming in, or the wingers are coming in. It doesn't really go through Gylfi Sigurdsson, and that's why you're seeing passing. I can't say passenger. Bloody hell, being a passenger in a lot of games. Jesus Christ, took a while to get that one out. That's why you see him being a passenger in a lot of games, because the ball isn't coming through him. He's not getting the ball directly to him. And I think that's when you see him sort of just walking around and not really knowing where he is. So for me, I'd take Gylfi Sigurdsson out of this game. I think there's absolutely no reason to not play two up front. I don't think there's a negative as to playing that formation that I put out there and taking Gylfi Sigurdsson out there. And plus, it gives him an opportunity to get a little bit of a rest and sit on the bench. And obviously, maybe that'll light a little bit of fire in Gylfi Sigurdsson, as to say, well, you know what, I need to be performing at a better level. Even if I'm playing in a system that doesn't really fit me and doesn't really work, I need to be putting in a shift. I need to be putting in 110% every week. Otherwise, I'm not going to be a part of this team. So that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts in the live comments. If you're watching, if you're enjoying as well, please do hit the like. If you're new to the channel as well, subscribe. We're literally 7 subscribers away from 900. Really getting close now to that 1,000 mark. So please do subscribe if you're new to the stream. Carl says, I'm loving Iwobi's pace and dribbling. He's a game changer. And he also says Burnley a tough game for anyone. I agree, spot on. Andrew says, I'm going Burnley 0, Everton 2, Calvert-Lewin and Bernard. Hopefully, mate, hopefully. Carl says, starting 11 for me, Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Mina, Dean, Gomes, Delph, Charleston, Iwobi, Bernard and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'd also take that starting 11. I think, again, that shows attacking intent. And he also says, I think DCL will get double figures this year. I'd say, do hope so. Jeff says, I want Iwobi at the 10 instead of Sigurdsson and Bernard on the left. We need more creativity to break their very decent defence. I'd also be very happy with seeing Iwobi in the number 10 and Bernard over on the left. David says, spot on, Jeff. Wayne says, you can tell me two thanks, I'm still here. We always effing losing. Ain't you seen the league? And obviously, I'm not going to go into your personal issue, Jeff, Wayne. But yeah, listen, it's part of being an Everton fan, and we need to improve massively. We really do. Carl says, I hate how people slag DCL off when we don't play him. We won't score. We can't score. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been in good goal scoring form at the minute. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Even people that don't really like him or don't really see him as a natural striker, which I think is fair enough. I don't think you can argue with the fact that he's scoring goals at the minute. Rob says, no messing Saturday Blues surprised me and get a victory. Yes, hopefully. Eugene says, what do you think of Rafa Benitez as the new Everton manager? Because Everton TV said about Rafa Benitez if Marco Silva got sacked. I don't think he'd ever come to Everton. I think he's got too many ties with Liverpool. I think he's got too much of a connection with Liverpool. I don't think he'd ever come to Everton. Where are we? Jeff says, we have to have runners to break the lines. If we just throw in crosses as usual, we are playing to their strengths. I agree. Andrew says, Rafa Benitez, Everton manager, ex-Liverpool manager, no thanks. Carl says, Rafa would never come to us. He's staying out the UK after the way Newcastle seated him. Fair enough. Rob says, good lineup, maybe probably won't happen. Exactly. We'll probably see Sigurdsson in there. We'll probably see Schneiderlin in there. Carl says, you always support us. Again, I'm not really going to go into the discussion there about supporting us when we're bad. Paul says, can see us getting beat here, to be honest. Listen, if we don't put in 110% and if we don't play like we did against City, and if we approach this game like we did approach the Sheffield United game or the Bournemouth game, then, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, mate. Carl says, Rafa too loyal to the Reds, in my opinion. Don't think he'd join Everton. I agree. Eugene says, Jose Mourinho is the new Everton manager. Marco Silva gets sacked. I don't think Jose Mourinho could fix, you know, the situations at Everton at the minute. Rob says, we'll win if we play with a fast tempo, etc. Again, exactly like we did against them last season. So I agree. David says, not everyone... Oh, where are we? I've just lost the comments. Bear with me 2 seconds. David says, not everyone has a permanent level of positivity, Carl. Jeff says, Rafa might be a good manager, but he's an ex-Liverpool manager. He'd be up against it from the get-go, and the first sign of a problem fans would be over him. Spot on. I agree 100%. Carl says, I get annoyed at us, obviously, but I don't constantly slag us aside. Jeff says, that's just realistic. David says, exactly, Jeff. Paul says, Burnley equals fight and determination. Everton equals soft asses in a horrendous game. That's why we need to give fight and determination as well. Carl says, I can see DCL thriving in this game, in my opinion. Hopefully, I can see this game is definitely a game that suits Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Obviously, it's a defence that he can get in behind. It's a defence that he can really trouble with his power and his pace, and obviously his heading ability as well. So, I definitely do agree with you. Falcon Blues TV says, is right, Cam. Just found out Gomes is fit because of your tweet. Thank you very much, and thanks for getting involved. Big up to Falcon Blues TV. Go over and check their videos out as well, and go and subscribe to them on the Grand Old Team and their YouTube channel as well. They also also say, everyone subscribe to the Mighty Blues, it's free, just do it, haha. Thank you very much, really, really appreciate that. Wayne says, Sims banged another one in the under-23s the other night. If you never try them, then you don't know if they're good enough. Sims and Gordon up front for me. What's the worst that could happen? We lose. Strong. I think, listen, I don't think Marco Silva will go with it, but it's definitely a strong shout. We're going to talk about Anthony Gordon in a second. Ellis Sims for me, again, unbelievable form last season for the under-18s, under-19s, whatever it was. Scoring bags and bags of goals, doing well, breaking into the under-23s. I think he's probably still got at least another year, maybe even another 2 years in the under-23s before we start to see him integrated into the first team. I think we'll start to see him integrated into first team training first before he fully gets his opportunity, but he's looking a top player, I have to say that. Falcon Blues TV says, I like seeing two up top on your Everton 11, so do I, mate. I hope Marco Silva somehow finds this video and decides to go with it as well. David says, neither do others, they just vent where possible, and these channels are the place for that, as well as constructive conversation. Spot on, mate, spot on. Jeff says, my only real hope now is that we will have Gomes back soon. I really want to see us play 4-3-3. Maybe we can sneak a cup win to salvage this shit show of a season. If we sneak a cup win, mate, that'll be an unbelievable achievement for me. And yeah, I can't wait for Gomes to be fit again. Wayne says, have a good weekend, Mucker. Everton till I die. Thank you very much, Wayne. Really do appreciate it. Eugene says, come back, David Moyes is Everton manager again. Please no, please no. And he also says, FIFA or PES, what do you think to play? I play FIFA personally. Carl says, I want Davis starting, but I don't think he will. Brings heart and determination to the start. He does, he brings heart, he brings passion, he brings determination, he brings energy. A couple of things he doesn't bring is experience, and I don't think he's got the trust of the manager, to be honest with you. That's a topic for another live team that we'll definitely go into, though. Paul says, 2 points off 19. Exactly, it's very, very worrying. Carl says, I want Morgan Feeney to have a game. I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan Feeney started to be integrated into the first team either, to be honest with you. Falcon Blues TV says, Anthony Gordon had a good game for the under-23s the other day as well. One of my mates went, going to try and get to the Crew game in November if I'm not working. Yeah, I'd love to go to that Crew game as well, and he did. He had a really, really good game. We'll talk about him in a sec. Jeff says, Eugene, if we had the fight in this team, if we had the fight his team had, we'd be joint top now. No pansies allowed under Moyes. Spot on to be fair. And Falcon Blues says, agree, Jeff, I'd like to see 4-3-3 formation with Gomes. Yeah, I definitely would as well, but it's just the case of Gomes becoming fit. Now, when Gomes is fit, it'd be really, really interesting to see what Marco Silva does. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps to that, and if he actually does put it, start the 4-3-3 formation with obviously Gomes, Gomes and Fabian Delph. Anyway, before I go, I want to talk about Anthony Gordon for a second. I want to talk about some of the under-23s, because we're at a point now with Everton where we're starting to see the same sort of players coming off the bench. We're seeing Sigurdsson involved in every game. We're seeing Theo Walcott involved in every game. We're seeing these players that we used to seeing that aren't really performing at the minute. Theo Walcott, for me, hasn't performed in the last 6 to 8 months. Gylfi Sigurdsson, okay, had a good season last season and struggled at the start of this season, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But players like Theo Walcott really, really haven't performed over the last 6 to 8 months. Obviously, Anthony Gordon is playing fantastically well for the under-23s. He's scoring goals nearly every game he's playing, and he's scoring really, really good goals as well. He is on the brink, I believe, of breaking into the first team training with the first team, and then of course it's just a matter of time then before you're involved in the matchday squad. Dennis Adeniran is now training with the first team as well, so again, he is another player to keep our eye on. Ellis Sims, like mentioned before, I think he's probably still a little bit too young. I think he probably still needs a little bit of time in the under-23s to get used to that, and then before making that massive jump up to the Premier League. But definitely in Anthony Gordon's case, listen, we're going to talk about it on a separate live stream. We're going to talk about the under-23s, and we're going to talk about the young players as well, but I don't see why we shouldn't put Anthony Gordon on the bench on Saturday. I don't see why we shouldn't start to bring Anthony Gordon into the first team setup. I'm not saying start him from the off. I'm not even saying bring him off the bench, but what I'm saying is get him used to being in the matchday squad. Get him used to sitting there on the bench in front of 40,000 people singing at Goodison Park. Get him used to coming on in the last 10 minutes of a Premier League game, so there's not that much pressure on him because he's only coming on for the last 10, but he gets used to the pace, he gets used to the style of play of the other teams. Do this now before these players just become under-23 players that play in the under-23s for a matter of years and then end up leaving the club. Like Brendan Galloway, who had his chance in the first team, done okay, but then was then taken out. How many players have we seen over the years that have got to a point in their career where you've gone, right, you're probably about right now to break into this first team. You're probably about right now to be involved in the matchday squads, to be on the bench, to be coming off, and it just doesn't happen for them, and then they continue to play in the under-23s, and then they end up leaving and going elsewhere. So it's probably about time now that Anthony Gordon is definitely in the mind of Marco Silva to at least be brought into the, like I said, the matchday squad, give him the opportunity to be around the first team on match day, give him the opportunity to be around Goodison Park as a player on match day and not just as a fan like he'll be used to. And again, I'm not saying start him, I'm not saying bring him in, I'm not saying play him, I'm not even saying bring him off the bench yet, but what I'm saying is let him be involved in that, because if this is what Anthony Gordon's going to be involved in over the next couple of years, then why not start him now? We're at a point now where we're having the same players coming off the bench. We're having Theo Walcott coming off the bench who's doing nothing. So why not have Anthony Gordon on the bench there? It'll excite the fans. It'll obviously give him a massive confidence boost. And again, I'm not saying start him. I'm not saying bring him in straight away. I'm not saying throw him in at the deep end and destroy his confidence, but I'm saying give him that opportunity to be in and around the first team on a match day so he understands that feeling. Because what we don't want to do is 2 years down the line just say, right, we're going to pull you from the under-23s on a Tuesday and on a Saturday he's starting up front, because that'll when his confidence will be destroyed. That's when he won't be used to the first team. That's when he won't be used to the Premier League. He won't be used to playing in such conditions. So feed him in now, let him have a couple of games on the bench, let him have that opportunity. And I think we'd all understand that if we've seen Anthony Gordon on the bench on Saturday, we probably realise that he's probably not going to come on unless we're like we were last season, 5 goals up or 4-5 goals up. He's probably not going to feature, but it'll be fantastic for him to get that experience. Cal says, I want Sidibe to start more, look solid. I'd probably put Sidibe in my starting 11 if Seamus Coleman didn't have a fantastic game last week, but I do think he does look a decent player. Falcon Blues TV says, Sidibe was unlucky not to start against City, in my opinion. My man of the match at Sheffield Wednesday. He has a very good record for assists in the Flint League as well. He does, and I think he'd probably be in more contention of being in the starting 11. Like I said, if Seamus didn't have as good as a game as he did, but it is a little bit unlucky for Sidibe at the minute, and again, it does seem like he's probably going to be a player that we see more often in the cup competitions. But, you know, there's room there. He should have started in the Premier League against Sheffield United. He should have started against Bournemouth when Seamus wasn't playing well. Kadir says 3-4-1-2, what do you call the system? What do I call this system? Probably just a 4-4-2, mate. It's just the pitch is a little bit too short to compact everyone together. And David says, I mess Kadir. If you're talking about the system Marco Silva plays, I don't know. 4 something Sigurdsson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Jeff says, I don't want Anthony Gordon to play yet. Introducing kids to a dysfunctional side can kill their career. It's so much more beneficial introducing them into a functioning side. It is, but when are we going to have a functioning side? You know what I mean? Anthony Gordon could be in the under-23 for another 5 years before we have a functioning team that are consistent and playing, you know, consistently well week in, week out. So again, you've sort of got to take that into consideration well. But I do understand where you're coming from. Evertonian TV says Gomes should start. This is the perfect type of game for him. Fair enough, I agree. If he's fit, if he's 100% fit, why not? Evertonian TV, I've just read that one. Jeff says, we don't want to be putting them under pressure. Our need for goals has really had a negative impact on Moise Keane. Fair enough. Reece says, must win for us, I agree. Eugene says, play Umahaniasi to come out of the cold and play for Everton again. No. Definitely not. He's nowhere near good enough. And Jeff says, nice one, David. Nice one, Jeff. That's going to do it for today's team anyway. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel as well, like I said, subscribe. We're literally about 7 subscribers away from 900 now, so it means a massive amount to me if we can get there as soon as possible. Don't forget to join us at about 8:30 tonight for the press conference reaction. We've spoken a little bit about Marco Silva's press conference today because obviously it was today on a Thursday. Usually it's on a Friday, and usually we do that team on a Friday, but of course it was on a Thursday. So after I come home from football later, we're going to sit down and we're going to do the press conference reaction. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the things that Marco Silva spoke about, obviously before Saturday's game. Big thanks to everybody for watching live. If you got involved in the live comments, once again, a massive thank you to you. If you're watching as a YouTube video afterwards, please do leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, and I'll try my best to get involved and get replying to those all night as well. Like I said, please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's at MightyBluesYT, just underneath me there, to keep up to date with all of the latest Everton news and information, and all of the latest information on the channel as well. So once again, a big thanks for watching. Don't forget to join us a little bit later on at around about 8:45 for a quick press conference reaction to Marco Silva's pre-game press conference. Big game on Saturday. Big 3 points on the line. We're not in a position at the league at the minute to realistically to take anything other than 3 points out of this game. So the lads need to go out there. They need to play in the same fashion as they did against Manchester City. They need to show the same effort. They need to show the same urgency. They need to show the same type of performance. And you know, we need to go out there and we need to get 3 points. Jeff says, cheers, Cam Laters, everyone. Thank you very much, Jeff. See you later. And Andrew says, thumbs up. Thank you very much, Andrew. Really do appreciate that. Like I said, big thanks to everybody for watching. Please do hit the like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to join us a little bit later on for the press conference reaction. And I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.